Hello, my name is Bob Gay. I'm founder of Nurex. Today we're going to demonstrate installing a modern upper distributor plate. We're going to discuss installing a modern upper distributor plate with modern points and condenser. They're a little different than the original Ford parts, but they're much easier to work on, much easier to service. And if time comes when you have to buy points and condensers, you can go to AutoZone or Napa and buy the replacement parts. Very common 1957 to 1974 Ford V8. They were all the same. You can usually buy them in A, B, or C grade. First thing you want to do is get a decent distributor housing, one that has a decent shaft, that the bearings are not worn out in. If they're worn out, replace them. Put a new shaft in it. Have a good, tight, no side travel distributor shaft. Then you're going to use a new modern lower plate. Well, what's modern about it? The only thing modern about it is it has a 9-inch pigtail. That pigtail is very important. Pigtail will make a complete revolution all the way around the distributor so that as the plate advances and retards, it'll never fatigue the wire. The wire will stay good for a long, long time. First thing you want to do to that lower plate before you put it in is to take a piece of electrician tape and tape the connector that was usually going originally to the lower condenser. Well, we're putting a condenser in the top now, so we don't need anything contacting that, and we don't need this to short out when we screw in our conduit. So we'll tape that off. Install it, line up the two holes. Now I like to use a magnetic screwdriver to get the screws started in the holes. Then use a normal screwdriver to tighten them. Now you're going to install the spring. That spring keeps tension on the top plate. But before you do anything more, you want to wrap that pigtail completely around the spring. Make sure it's not being pinched by the spring. And you want to fasten it to the nut. You notice there's a double nut. You're going to take the outer nut off, leave the lower nut on, make sure it's tight. We're going to fasten it to the plate. We're going to take that outer nut off, leaving the inner nut on, and we're going to tighten it up in place. After the wire's fastened, you want to double check to make sure that this terminal doesn't touch the plate or the distributor housing when it's in place. If it does, it'll be just like turning the key off. It'll ground the points. So rotate that terminal so that it doesn't touch any of the surrounding things. Housing, plate, nothing else. Make sure it's tight, then we can put it in place. If you notice, you got these 3 indexes, the little bayonets. They go into place only one way. So there's only one way you can slip that in. Make sure that the spring's in place and it's not pinching your wire. Okay, the plate is in. I've rotated it. It moves smoothly. That's good. Now we got to set the points. So in order to do that, we got to put the distributor cam on. But because the distributor cam has to be located in a certain spot for timing using the new wrench timing tool, all we have to do right now is set the points, set the point gap. Well, if you notice this little yellow feeler gauge here, that's 20 thousandths. So we want to rotate the cam around so that the cam is on a high point of a lobe. And right there is one. So we'll tighten it up there. Tighten it up there. Pull that out. We've got our 20 thousandths gap so that whenever that spins around, the points will close. Now that we've got everything assembled here, it's time to hook up our ignition cable, our flex conduit. It screws into the distributor, and the spring-loaded contact makes contact with the lower plate. And the reason why we tape the lower plate is so that when we screw this in and make it good and tight, we're not going to depress the one arm of that contact surface inside on the lower plate into the side of the distributor housing. This way, if it does move that arm over toward the distributor housing, when you tighten it, it won't ground anything out. It's already insulated. This wire goes up to your ignition. Now we're ready to put the distributor body on, fully retard the distributor, hook up all your linkages, use the Nurex timing tool, time it, go to nurex.com, go to the new wrench product page, and look at the video. It details timing the distributor.